You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the battle brick road.
Хоча покажу, як кожен спортсмен піднімає логліт.
Покажи.
Можемо почати з Тірексу.
Ну давай, бачиш схему, давай.
А, блядь, широчайший дюк.
I'm so sorry. Hello, thank you for being here. I see a couple of you guys in the chat. I saw Felix and Mo, and it allegedly technology is not reliable. A couple other people are watching. Okay, glad you guys are here. I really appreciate it. It's bedtime story time. That's sort of what the stream is at the end, is bedtime stories. I noticed once I start reeling through a synopsis, the chat just gets really quiet. So I was like, are they asleep? Am I boring them? Probably both. Anyway, man, it has been an eventful week. So let's see. Let's get the hands up here. It's been an eventful couple of weeks. Camera. There we are. Okay, things are going better at home, where hopefully I can get that intro video re-edited soon. And as much as I love it, and it needs help. So thanks you guys for being here. If you're watching on the replay, still remember please to hit the thumbs up thing. And oh, Felix got Shadowpunk today. Oh, that is cool. Felix, do you stream? I'm waiting. Oh, I hate the delay. It's going to be like 25 seconds before I get an answer. Yeah, the comic book Shadowpunk. I understand. Let's see. And waiting for him to answer if he streams. Anyway, yeah, it's been an eventful couple of weeks. I realized as I was trying to get things ready, I should start a little video where letters go by and it spells out Blue Jitsu because of the inspiration of Mo. Thank you, Mo. The comic book. Yeah. And did you like the animation he did to introduce the story? No, I don't stream. Okay, you don't stream. That's cool. I think the animation he did to sell that book was really, really cool, where it's sort of the first chapter that's not in the book, but you don't need it to read the book. A great animation he did to sell Shadowpunk. Okay. You're welcome, brother. Thank you for saying I'm welcome to a thank you. Yeah. Anyway, I am now injured. This is lovely, but I need a Blue Jitsu introduction to my stories. Killing time to let people get in. I liked the animation. It was good. Yes, it was, Felix. And where are we? So what happened? I'm going to try and not make this sound like a script the way Mo said, but we were learning to throw each other. So you got two guys standing. Of course, you're leaned forward at the hips because one guy has an arm over the other guy's arm and whatever. But the key to it is you have to sweep up the other dude's leg. So this is sort of worm's eye view. You're kicking the other guy's leg back. So this is the aggressor. He's in the front, like so. And how it starts generally is this guy goes for a one-legged takedown, and this guy turns it into something else. So one of the things you can do, among many others, is if you're about to get swept over like that, is bend your knee. You're this dude. I know it gets confusing. You're this dude. Bend your knee around his lower leg and push back so that he goes over. And the problem with that is when you do so, you're putting your calf underneath his ankle, which means he's got like an extra lock on you. And if he straightens his leg, that lock on the foot causes the foot to rotate, twist the knee, and you blow out your own knee. Chicka-bow wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, he turns it into something else. All right. And it sounds like this guy really swept you off your feet, Blue. The entire team. So, there's a dude who's really busy and doesn't make class a lot. So he's still a white belt. He runs a local rehab center. He's not a counselor himself, but he works with them. Sorry, there we go. And he's got that. Somebody else told me later when I said it sucks. I don't think I can work with this guy ever again. I said who it was, and one of my other teammates is like, "Oh yeah, the spastic dude." And yeah, that's not what hurt me. So somehow I think I was the one in front, but I got taken down. But it wasn't this movement in particular. When I got taken down, my heel was still on like his calf or his shin, and that provided just enough twist that I felt pressure in my knee. Nothing popped. We didn't like slam into that. Otherwise, I would have had a pop. And I'm like, oh, that pressure is bad. I need to move my foot this way. But instead of getting, and this is like just drilling, So we land and somehow get into this position, but not slamming it in. So that's okay. I feel a little pressure in my knee, kind of. It's the left knee, so the medial side, which would be the right edge, the inner edge. Waiting for your comments to show up. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's to the middle, towards the middle of your body, right next to my kneecap. At what would that be? If you look down at your left knee as you're sitting, it would be like 2:30, 2 o'clock, or not 2:30. That's too far over, but you get the idea. The diagonal there, 45 degrees off from straight forward. And I'm like, that's bad. So, but instead of straightening my knee to get my heel off of his shin, somehow it only straightens with my hip and like it runs down his shin as I'm trying to untangle carefully. And see what we got. Don't let him pressure you in anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And I thought, well, that was close. And then 5 minutes later, like it started hurting really bad. If you recall the woman I won't do jujitsu or judo with anymore because of other things she has done, she has previously started a small tear in my meniscus. This aggravated that to no end. And my medial collateral ligament, the ligament that runs on the insides of your knees, like here, that one, I can feel bruises all over it. It's a minor sprain and it sucks. So I'm not happy. Anyway, there's our Blue Jitsu story for the day. Injuries suck. I'm going to move on. It's time for mail. What do we got? I will check this one out. I haven't streamed in a couple of weeks. So I peeled the labels off in preparation for a stream, and I know what they are. And then if I don't stream that night, I will, there we go. There it is. I will end up totally forgetting what I'm unwrapping. Yeah, I don't need more counseling and therapy. What do we got? The direct quotes that come. Excuse me. I don't talk a lot all day, so just. Sorry, I had to mute that. Anyway, the direct quotes didn't come out that egregious tonight, so I just had to respond to things you were saying using different context. Yep. Well, what's funny about this guy? He's the nicest guy, but he runs a rehab center because he's been through rehab himself. I am sensitive to odors. It's so sad if you've ever dealt with alcoholics, how it starts to come out of their skin when they're really drinking a bunch. And this guy's sober and he's happy and all that, but you can whoa, something almost fell. You can still tell that has been an alcoholic previously, so that sucks. I'm going to assume these are from Richard C. Meyer, so here we go. It's got to have a hole in it somewhere. I don't want to cut the book. Come on, Richard. What is your fulfiller doing? There it is. The chances that Richard C. Meyer sees my channel are like bajillion to one. Okay, this is obviously a narwhal thing. And I don't exactly recall. It's like this is an extra. Is this? And this is a poster. This doesn't seem like it fits anything I've backed. Yeah, after that first round of shipments he got where there was nothing on the book at all, and people complained that because of it sliding around, it got like sandpapered along the edges and stuff. He's done it. He's had his fulfiller do it like this ever since. I'm going to have to go back and check my backings because this isn't making a ton of sense to me. No. The story of No. Okay. I thought I didn't get this one. But we'll look at Narwhal's book. Okay. Stable bound. I'm not good at page weight, but somebody told me 80 versus 70 is really obvious. It's a Narwhal book. They all look like this. Oh, there we go. So I have no idea what this is about. It's Narwhalian artwork. You know, all the motion, elongated weirdness, things that don't fit. What the hell is going on there? There are people inside giant gloves. Okay. Aw, he killed the giant. The fourth book from Narzak. A young warrior's last chance to prove himself ends at midnight. Okay. This book really could have used your boys. Yes. Yes, it could. Speaking of which, $4.99 was an okay read. Like it was a little bit better than some of the other stuff I've seen from Richard where, you know, you get finished reading, you're like, that was kind of just concept-y. I think $4.99 did a little bit better than that, and they destroyed it with the coloring. Anyway, yeah, here you go. It's a narwhal joint. Oh, right before the stream started, something weird happened where suddenly StreamYards just cut out on me, and it just said something happened, log back in. So if I disappear, don't take it personally. So thank you, Narwhal. I'll figure out what that is later. I have no idea what I backed. Next. Oh, geez. I hate this plastic. There we go. I'm not trying to be dainty. I just don't want to knock this thing off the table. Yeah, please sign up for Zynoking. When Zach first pitched 49 as Alpha High, the story sounded interesting. It's an odd one. I mean, it's got its future dystopia note to it. Oh, good. Tape. You guys have no idea how many of these stupid little Geminis I have. Ah! Merkin Bliss. So this is from David Brink. I'll have to message him later and just give him a timestamp and say I opened your thingy. So we got cosplay. Cosplay's not my thing. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like an adult male thing to do to, do dress up and pretend. So I don't. There we go. Nice. All the sphericals. All right. Sorry, I'm a little quiet because I'm thinking ahead. I got the digital of American Bliss. I'd have to go back and check my emails and see if I also got it. All right. Let's see. Odin Hudson Saavedra. Reading upside down. Let's start a little earlier than that. There we go. First page is good. Oh, we start out with the villain. Alrighty. Credits. Writer Michael Utzon, line art Eric Hudson, colors by Federico Soyak, and lettering by Joe, that must be Dutch, Saavedra. Okay. Cover B art. No idea which one this is. This is cover B, it says. All right. Cover B art by Pau Rodrigues and Federico Soyak. Sioc. S-I-O-C. Back cover by Pau Rodrigues also and Brian Magnay. Got to sound things out while I'm live. Nervous. It was decent, but very obviously an Ogden self-insert. Oh yeah, totally. Like whenever I see a patriotic character in one of his books, I know it's him. So blatantly, that's Ogden right there. He's letting out his inner woman. Now, I like traditional line art a lot, but I don't mind, and we'll see this later in the Lee Bermejo book, I don't mind them occasionally using blur and other stuff that you couldn't just directly draw, to have like a lens blur and she's on top of it. It does pop her out a little bit, but, it's okay here and there. Yeah, that's totally Ogden right there. Oh no, he's not her. He's her boyfriend. Are you sure? The Ogden I know would always be the patriotic character. I haven't read it. Thank you. Okay. So I wonder who the editor was on this, because if the editor was not Ogden, that's a good thing. You always want a different pair of eyes, but money running short, because it always does. He might have had to self-edit. So I wonder what they say about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks like tiny. 6, 7. Not bad. Yeah, I know some people who would scream about this, but here's Ogden doing it. Yeah, I can't wait to find out what this is about. Really digging Michael Odin's boobs here. To be continued. All right, so what's in the back? Pinups. Cool. By Pau and Federico. We got Bill Mouse and Federico again. Leo Oliveira and Brian Magne. I can't say his name. Magnaye. PJ Delmanis. Well, this time he had a patriotic girlfriend. Clearly. Oh, of course. I'm friends with Ogden, so I don't mind teasing him a little. He'll never see this stream. He's too busy. He got a better job. Cool. All right. Let's see what the second book is. Pardon me while I file that away. I already have some more of David Brink's trading cards, and they do look like this. So this will fit right in the sleeves with the other ones. Or I think I have to start a new page for him. I think this one's thicker. So if I remember from what Mike was saying, American Bliss was, and forgive me if I'm totally butchering this, David Brink's character that he let Mike write or something like that. Anyway, I hope I'm not horrendously mixing that up, and I could be. Editor-in-chief graphic designer is David Brink. You know, in the other book, I should have looked. I didn't go down far enough to see if there's an editor. So, the anthology series Power Trip collects shorter stories from the Genuine Verse. Okay. Genuverse? Genuniverse? Anyway, it's Genuine Verse, but okay. Made by different creative teams, each issue highlights specific characters or introduces new creations and concepts, exploring more of our adventurous world, and allows creators to build and expand the growing lore. Cool. I like this. Good art. There we go. I should move the camera over. That's better. So for an anthology book where everything's really short and tight, I don't think it's a good idea always to spend an entire page like this on a title. I'd want to give my people more space, like just put the title up, take up a third of a page instead of a whole page. But that does mess with the layout, with other pages layouts too. I like Dave, but Genuine Verse isn't working for me. It sounds a bit awkward. It is. And I believe this is a pinup at the end. Yep. So it's a pinup, like a cover for the next book. Man Devil. Okay. This frame in particular, this panel, not frame, in particular, the way this came out reminds me too much of 90s initial computer coloring, and it wasn't something that I liked. The rest of them aren't quite like that. Careful. There you go. Gee, I wonder what book comes next. She's back. Yeah, creator and writer David Brink. So he created American Bliss. Pencils and inks by Pau, colors by Federico again, and lettering by Joel again. Waiting for that to pop up. There it is. Yeah, that coloring doesn't impress me. Me either. In fact, see, I looked up and saw it on my screen, and it really doesn't. And the art isn't blowing me away either, right? The first and third stories look better. They do. In fact, this being drawn by Pow is different from the other book, and I still like this line art style a lot better. You know, the middle one, a lot of this is too square, too hard, things like that. It's not. It doesn't look like John Malin's work at all, but it has that over-edged, over-cornered, like there's too much corner on the jawline kind of thing that John Malin does. It's moving in that direction towards Malin, even though the rest of the line art is a totally different quality. I don't want to say lower. It's just it has that thing in common with Malin that is not my taste. So Malin is skilled, but it's not my taste. Those are different. This looks like Savage Sasquatch. It's a book by Wes Hartman. If you haven't seen it. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Let's see what we got. That looks like the devil from Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. I haven't heard of that. I don't recognize what you're saying. Oh, there he is again. You know, my decade and a half, or almost and a half, being totally absent from the culture is just a huge hole in my knowledge. Let's see. Okay, so I am going to open a couple more. I don't know how the post office got this one to me. Look at how tiny this is. Anyway, I removed a stream not simply because the BBC struck it, but because I was really it's the tripod stream. If you saw it, I was really unhappy with the way it came out. For something so big that I was trying to say about why stories matter, I should have made notes and prepared better, like rehearsed it. And then, you know, the benefit of stories and things like that. What is this taped to? Oh, geez. Yeah, there we are. You must rip it. All right. I didn't like how it came out. It was too stuttery. It was too disjointed. I didn't tie things together verbally. I left stuff out. It was pretty about. I even didn't tell you guys what the end of the tripod story was, and it turns out one of the big points I wanted to make requires me to tell you the end of this tripod story. So the BBC struck it. I haven't edited out the part they struck, and I'm just going to leave it unlisted because it's crap. So you might catch me repeating things here and there that I said in that stream. Oh, yeah. Okay, this was a Kickstarter. Man, the tape was liberal on this one. He taped this thing in place. I mean, he cared about it getting here well. I can tell you that much. Okay. So this, let me bring it up. Pardon me. Kickstarter. Inc. That's not going to work. Kickstarter Comic Inc. Here we go. Ink 1 to 2, Homecoming by Sierra Nova Comics. That's what it is. There's another one, Unlimited Ink number 1. Chicago's favorite crime fighting duo. That's not what we're looking at. Tattoo artist turned superhero returns home to a mysterious cult terrorizing his hometown. If I can get it out of here. Maybe I should remove the board first. These books are thick. Oh boy. You know what? I own bags and boards. It's just gonna, there are prints in here too. It's just gonna have to be that way. Okay. What is this? This from the back looks like a little extra. Is this the pre? This looks familiar. I think this is the preview that was online. Yeah, it is. Got a little touched right here, kind of bent around. Should be fine. Flatten out, no problem. They're brand new. Here we go. Okay, so this one, if I remember, didn't blow me away on the artwork, but I was really interested in the concept. And oh, I know what it is. This is number 1, and it's really thin. Yeah, this is number 1. And then there are 2 versions of number 2 over here. So I think I've read number 1 online. There we go. This is from, I think this opening scene is some kind of tattooing contest. He comes home, has weird dreams. Yeah, it's not art to blow you away, but it is a strange story. And so he ends up in some Buddhist temple. Gonna figure that out when I read it. All right, let's look at number 2. 2 is a lot bigger. Yeah, this one intrigued me with the story. So let's take a look. Rewards. Ink is about a tattoo artist named Shane Murphy. Hi, Shane. With a burden destiny to be the gatekeeper of the realm. One fateful, that would be why he has a key on his arm now. Okay, one fateful day, after having nightmares of his destiny, he is visited by a mysterious man. Go for it, Mo. Just go for it. Anyway, during the visit, the man transfers his powers to Shane. That's a euphemism. However, Shane has a big decision to take on because after the power transfer, he is given only 72 hours to accept his destiny or he dies. And with that, the realm could be destroyed. So become a superhero of some kind or the world dies with you. Okay, ink number 2. What's it about? It has been 3 years since Shane has been home in the town of Ballston, Ballston. All right. A lot has changed since he left. He was at Mount Kanman, which we'll get to later on. Don't worry. He returns because he's finishing his training and soon finds out that an evil threat known as the Faceless has infected his hometown while he was away. That's what we're seeing now. These guys with the masks on. So he's training as a Buddhist monk. Has to fight the Faceless. Nice and simple. He must now take care of them before they make matters worse. Little does Shane know. Little does Shane know is they really. Okay, I think there's a typo in this description. Don't know why I didn't call it before. Little does Shane know that they really want him because he holds the key to their true mission. Oh, that's cool. Little hidden intrigue, underlying motives come out later. Nice. Yeah, this is one where the story made me go, okay, I'll give it a bite, as opposed to the art. The art's not bad. It tells the story. Here we go. Claiming the gatekeeper who visited the mysterious man is Bancroft with Rod should be low-hanging fruit. Is Rod the keymaster? All right, it's serviceable. So there was something. I hate participating in other people's chats sometimes because I can't get a thought condensed down very well until like later. There's kind of a misunderstanding. I think I could be wrong. Where what's his name? Nice guy, Jay Ryan. Oh yeah, talked about don't support books that aren't there yet, and I agree. And there's this trust that I have to see evidence that if you're going to say you bought my book so I don't have to improve anymore, then I don't want to support you. Get this one out of the way. This is from Luke Stone, and I can't get the label off of it. Oh wait, yeah, I'll use scissors on this. It's easier. There we go. Oh yeah, I know what this is. Packing slip. There we go. It's another Luke Stone t-shirt. That's cool. So he got these done. Hybrids and his little DNA symbol. All right. So anyway, I do back certain people like Luke Stone because I see that they're improving. So I want to keep them going. But the moment I see that they're going to say, oh, I'm good enough now, I'm done. So yeah, there you go. Okay. So why do stories matter? And what am I going to get into here? There's a story from a guy I've mentioned before. I'm rehashing a little bit, but I'm going to say things I haven't said before. There's a guy, I know, this is a DC book. What is a DC book doing on an indie comic stream? You'll find out. There's a guy I've mentioned before named Dr. John Patrick, and he was invited to my church once, and I was working for the college group ministry at the time, where you take care of all the insipid little college students. And he gave a lecture. It was really good. Told a few anecdotes in it. One of them, he was trying to make the point of, oh, that's damaged, whatever. He was trying to make the point of story mattering. And on one point, he essentially summarized it as, it's the Christian stories that make you a Christian, it's the Jewish stories that make you a Jew in terms of how you think, what you think the world is. And I've seen that. So you can get into the chicken and egg thing I've mentioned before about does art imitate life or life imitate art? And it's both. Artists present what they see or what they imagine, and we can't escape that stories teach. It's the old popular saying in some circles that every story is a sermon, every movie and every book is a sermon. So how is that? It's because certain things are assumed in the background, what you might call presuppositions. So, oops, I looked up, and I'm obviously not known for being blunt, but some people should give up. Oh yeah, not on life. I mean, making comics. Oh, totally. Spyderco knife. I do have one. That wasn't it. This, I don't think it has a brand on it. Made in China. This is like 15, 20 years old, but no, not Spyderco. My Spyderco is across the room. And let's see. You're not a good artist or writer, and your idea is, I want to make a Marvel or DC character, but I don't have the rights, so here's my equivalent. You might find a better use of your time. Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. The university I went to, one of the later dorms I was in was like a 12-month dorm, but only a couple of wings. Hey, Crazy Mad. And one of the NFL teams would rent out part of the, they do a camp, and they'd rent out the other wings of the dorm. And so if you went from my wing and down one hall, like the big hallway that connects all the wings, if you just went down there to the vending machines where I'd get a Coke, there's some security guard, because these other wings on those floors are for the football team. And it's like, I used to work for that football team. Like, I really don't care. So to me, when I see security guards around, famous people, it's like, so what? So I'm not impressed with celebrity, especially, especially some athletes just being way too arrogant. But a lot of athletes are actually really cool. I owe a very good influence in my life to an NFL player. So anyway, getting back to that, that security guard down by the Coke machines, I asked him one day, what are you writing? Because he had a big notebook and whatever. And his answer was, I'm writing my Lord of the Rings. Like, dude, good luck with that. Yeah, it's good to have a big goal, but we want to start achieving those little goals towards it, just like weightlifting. Hey, crazy. Probably a marathon. Everybody's saying hello. All right. I'm trying to go over what I just said in my head, but I'm not picking it up, crazy. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, so winding back a bit, stories mattering, and Dr. John Patrick, excuse me. All right. And the beliefs underpin what you do, how you act, how you behave, and then sometimes we violate them, like sin. But moving on, he talked about Ethiopia, and he was on the teams that, as he put it, solved starvation in Ethiopia in the late 70s and the 80s. And you think, well, wait a minute, famine in Ethiopia and other parts of Africa lasted way longer than that. What does he mean? And it's what they saw, that the families would all eat out of a common bowl. I'm pointing at smoke and saying bowl. What a pun. Anyway, they'd all eat out of a common bowl. And the belief there was that when you had a child who was a slow eater, therefore got less food, and therefore would get weaker and slow down more and more, the child must have an evil spirit. That's the story they told themselves. And so then they'd go to witch doctors and whatever and spend all kinds of money and resources. I think I've told this before. Damn. On taking care of that child, but to no avail. Meanwhile, they're just not feeding him. So these missionaries, or not missionaries, sorry, these health workers were saying, you have to feed the child. Well, but he's a slow eater. Well, so what? Feed the child. Give the child his own plate. Nobody else is allowed to take from that child's bowl or plate or whatever. Okay, and then the kids got better. He also mentioned, I've told that one before. I hope I haven't told this next one too. He also mentioned that when Christian missionaries would show up, the death rate would double, which sucks. And it's because, and this is the thing they figured out, everybody wants to take somebody who's starving and say, you need protein. But they weren't looking at what systems were shut down, particularly the kidneys. Kidneys. Okay, I'm going to put my finger here so I remember kidneys. What do we got? The first attempt to solve the issue was by sending in military rations, but it failed, which is why they are now known as meals refused by Ethiopians. That is awesome. And having had military MREs for camping purposes, no, I was not in the military, but having had those, like, dude, I understand. Oh my gosh. Okay, kidneys. If the kidneys are shut down and your body is starving, those are two separate events. One causes the other, but deal with them separately. When you're starving like that, your body doesn't care about the protein. It wants the sugar. So it's, after it breaks a protein down into amino acids, it strips off the amine group, so you get a sugar underneath, and then converts that to glucose and uses it. A lot of energy going in to get energy out. So the liver gets very busy, but you've got all these amines coming off, and what happens with the amine group is it gets turned into uric acid. Now, if the kidney is shut down, you're not going to filter out your uric acid, you kill the child. That's what was happening. So they figured out, just when somebody is starving to that extent, feed them carbs first, get all the organs back online, and then you can save the child with protein later. The stories we believe in dictate what we think, our worldview, things like that. So stories teach and present. They reflect and present what's there. They teach it, and they teach subtly. It's what's underneath and in the background. So that's why stories matter, which is why I got so interested in getting back into comic books. In here, this is book 2. Let me get book 1. Yeah. So that's why I care about stories. And I think some stories are worth preserving. This one from DC, here on an Indie Comics stream. Double check the chat. Okay. This one got a lot of good attention at the beginning because it's written by Jeff Lemire. And his first few issues are always really good. This book format is pretty cool. You see, it's 48 pages usually. And in this case, 1, 2, so it's 46 pages of story. People have complained that DC's, the big two, their prices are going up. This will relate to the book I'm actually reviewing later and in a minute. And these were $8. I think they're getting, or no, this was $7. I think they're up to 8 now. And the one I'm going to show you by Boom Comics is actually up to $10 for a 48-page book. Now, for those of us of the Comicsgate persuasion, a 48-page book will cost you $35 rather than $7 to $10 plus tax. So when we look at, oh, we're paying for this great quality and prices in the comic shop are going up, you can find other really good quality in the comic shop, just not written by Jeff Lemire. He sucks. So this happened to follow a very typical Lemire arc where he sets something up that looks cool and then just sort of mechanically lets it play out without enough, with fake superficial human interest and whatnot. I found in this particular title, like, this looks really cool to have on a double page spread, and this is a magazine size format. It's not standard comic. See, here's your standard comic right there. And no, it sucks. Lemire is just boring by the end. You know who's going to survive. That's no big deal. Yep. Lemire needs, someone needs to sit Jeff Lemire down and tell him not every story needs a gay grandpa. Totally. Did he? Oh, hell, I was way behind? Oh. On what? Oh, on the stream, probably. Okay. Anyway, yep. But I found many pages in this book didn't need to be in a magazine format. They used it on pages like this pretty well. Okay. If you tried to shrink that down, you could still make it work in a standard comic format. But the pages where they tried to be really big, like this, it just didn't need the magazine format to be that big. So it was kind of a waste. I bring that up for a reason, because we're going to look at Lee Bermejo, whom I respect. Now, Lee Bermejo just redid a cover for a Batman, but he added so much detail that he actually made it too busy. So see how this is kind of cool as a single page, a splash page, or even a cover, but it doesn't have to be magazine format. So I think they wasted a bit of the magazine format on most of these pages. You could easily do this if this actually crosses the boundary, so it's a bit of a double page with insets. But you could easily do this in a standard comic. All right, so there's that. Let me see if I can get one that I'm thinking of. I should just look for the color red. And yeah, it's like this. Lots of sky, lots of, big character, lots of sky. Yeah, it didn't need to be a magazine format. That's all. This could have been done smaller just as well. And then I think there's another one where he's looking off into the ocean under the red sky, something like that. Yeah, here are, why is this? This just looks like a magnified version. Even the lines are thicker here. It's a waste. It doesn't have to be a magazine format, charging more for it. But so 48 pages usually, minus a couple. So here we go. 1, 2, 46. 46 times 3 is 120 plus 8. Yeah, 138 pages. For this one was $21, all three put together, and tax. If you liked it, great. But saying, oh, the prices are going up in the mainstream, so what? $21 for 138 pages, or to divvy that out if it's 20 pages per issue, which this is not. This is really shaped to be in the 46 pages at a time. The prices on the mainstream, if you find a good book, great. It's better priced than indies. So we go. We got okay. The stream I tuned in like an hour ago and had it paused and came back, and you were talking about Runner by Narzak. Oh, you tuned in before I actually started the stream. Got it. All right. So DC book sucks, and they're wasting. But the point of showing you that was they're wasting space. Whereas Bermejo, I think, could stand some criticism and has his faults, but in this book, I think he makes good use of the amount of space he's given. Yes, everything can always be redone in the smaller format, but why? So for his style, where he tries to get really photographic with everything, I thought he was working with photographs and pasting them together, and then I saw a work in progress from him, and no, it was pen and ink. So the dude's amazing. So, double page spread, big space. Every so often you get one. I'll get to the story in a moment. So, hey, Corey. Yep. Everybody say hello to Corey. Borak coming up. So, Corey, what do you think of Liber Mejo? As long as you're here. So, he can be too busy. I like how he does shapes on these things. The out of focus, again, what I pointed out from the other book. Here, it's in there, and I wonder if he's doing this pen and ink or if he's doing it in Photoshop. I can't tell. I think he could do it pen and ink with his skill. So now they also, because this book deals with time travel, there we go, link for Borak, he changes coloring, lighting, texture. You can still tell it's his lines, but it is very different. Like this looks like a very colorful version of the sepia we saw. And meanwhile, this is more flatter comic book color. I say flatter because it's less gradient. Single color highlights. Get that up there. There we go. Now we can see. So down here, you get less gradient, more, I want to say cell shading, but that's wrong. I don't know the names of what I'm talking about. So here, if you're familiar with Liber Mejo's Batman stuff, you can see that same design idea in the way he's done up this dude, whose name I could not find. Not enough babes, though. Absolutely. So, on that note, let's go back to the beginning. All right. I started late because I was trying to, and I didn't get a couple other things done because I was trying to find the name of this guy. I want to say Cole, but I'm not sure, and I can't remember his name. So he'll come up. Story's really cool. So here's your bedtime story. And Barton Bros. Yep. All right. So we see this timepiece with like a gun in it, and it looks like a watch and all that. Really good. And we're starting into this world. I like how he gradates us. There's a little dot back here, and just it's the eye, and very typical thing. But I like it. I like all the textures. Like this looks like a skin photograph. It really does. Right here. Sorry, photograph of skin. And yeah, Corey, you should check out American Bliss because Ogden's in there trying to get a new woman. So anyway, we're brought into the story. He's waking up. Our main character, who is named, I actually made notes, Sean Thacker. So Sean, S-H-A-W-N. He's waking up with his wife and his kid, and she's very happy and all that. Really cool. Wholesome America in the 50s because it's sepia. On this note, my older sister once admitted that she, whenever my dad told old stories from when he was a kid, she would see her imagination of those stories in black and white in her head because of old movies. Anyway, all right, and so he says, I forget what he's going to say. They're going to go fishing. Sorry, Tommy, Dad's got to run into town for work real quick. We see that. We'll fish when I get back. You get the poles set up while I'm gone. The poles are in the cellar. Do you want me to? No. So the poles are in the cellar. Do you want me? No. You don't go in the cellar. What are the rules? Because our heroic, I'm going to try and, there we go. Give me more book. He's holding a prisoner in the cellar. Lovely. Family book here. Yeah. So here's a dude he's holding. Talk about dark secrets. So I like how immediately we're being shown this dude isn't who we think he is. But even then, that's not the case. He's breaking open an egg to feed this guy through the mask. Bizarre. So he's got to run into town before they go fishing. He runs into town, and his thing in town is to place a bet. That's for work. The bookie is blind, but always recognizes him by the sounds he makes when he walks. kind of cute, or cute little gimmick. He comes back, his door is open. He's wondering what's wrong. His wife is dying. She's been beaten, but she's not dead yet. He checks downstairs. His son is dying at the bottom of the stairs in the cellar, right there, and rushes them to the hospital. And then there's a big hospital scene. He's having memories and stuff. She's in bandages, crying, etc. And he says some mysterious things, and then as one of them dies, this happens. Oh yeah, very brutal. So what is this? And he time travels. As we go through, and he starts narrating here. One thing I don't really like in some of the narration here is there'll be like something in the background, like there's a letter N, and it says "No time to grieve, need cover," but the N has some artwork behind it that interferes with in black with the N, and so it gets obscured. I understand having sound effects like this, pss, pss, like whatever's making that noise, but then lettering directly on like this when it's his thoughts sometimes throws me. There'll just be individual panels where it fails, and nice and cool. So I want to see what he's saying. Oh yeah, that, and without the border, it's harder to find. So I didn't see there's a caption up here before you read the caption down there. So he's saying, I'm going to read this to you because it's very sparse. This thing turns pages pretty quick at certain points. Blend in, assimilate, become. You, there by the dumpster. Show your hands. It's a cop. Citizen, present your identification. I got it right here. My training is muscle memory hardwired. Like riding a bike, and he smashes the robot cop. Not a human, period. Robotic. Now, where am I? So all his thoughts are like that. And he says, the future, but not mine. So not my future. So what we're led into is that when the other guy kills a person, when that person dies, the two of them time travel. So the first thing this guy does, weirdly enough, he recognizes the name here, JKT, which is going to be Kang Turing. That's the name of the company. I think there's a J there. Maybe I'm wrong. But Kang Turing, I think the name Turing is a reference to Alan Turing, the guy, the computer theorist. Kang, I don't know what that's a reference to. Maybe Marvel Comics. So whatever. But he's got to track down the other guy. And he goes off mission immediately to jump into some hallucination booth, but he doesn't have implants that would let him hallucinate the way this is offered. So he talks with the doc who works there and finds out you can get there's a way to do it without the implants, but the doc can see his memories. So he starts looking, and the doc is like, "What the hell is this?" Because none of his memories look right because they're from a different century. And so he kills the doc, who's half robotic anyway. And then police catch up to him, more adventure and whatnot, and he's got to find his counterpart. We see a pre-memory here of them pointing guns at each other, etc. So, and let's see, a little more adventuring around. They find each other, they fight. We're really being told that this guy is the bad guy. And there's the device that matters. This is what they're both going for, even in this time frame. And here, to get out of trouble, he kills, and they jump time again to the Civil War. He starts killing. Kang may be a black Israelite dog whistle. Wow. I hope not. Oh, we'll get to some of that SJW stuff in a minute here. So they jump time. He just kills somebody again. They jump time again. They keep going. He's just like, boom. If they're around people, slice them. And then they jump time again until, and here they're getting roughed up by Asian gangsters. Jump time again, and suddenly he's alone, and he's alive, and he's in the time of the dinosaurs. And that's the end of book one. So, yeah, I loved the concept in this. It's pretty cool. One problem I ran into, oh yeah, the binding is really weird because I tried to pick one that where the letters showed up real square, but then the it bleeds over to a black line on the front here. Okay, maybe that's by design, but then over here it's cut short where the cover doesn't fit, yet everything's staying in the binding just fine. So anyway, is this seen a babe? There is one. Yeah, there's a babe in the beginning too. Is this like Time Cop? Not that I can tell. Now, I didn't see Time Cop, but as far as I know, it's not, because these two are in competition. So, book 2. Run through that real quick. So I'm a fan of Bermejo's art, but there's a lot of stuff about art I don't know where I could be wrong. And like somebody criticized that Batman cover he did recently. It's more like defund the Time Cops. Yeah, actually, it is. So we see our intrepid hero Sean surviving the time of the dinosaurs. Alt tab. Okay, yeah. This is where I think Bermejo excels, like this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, well, there is a babe in this one too, so he's fleeing for his life, and we eventually get told what happens if he dies. So sorry about that. Bermejo did a whole ton of covers for Batmans, and they all had fire in them and stuff like that. So remember the wife. He's surviving alone with his own thoughts. These pages turn pretty quickly, and he ends up passing out after all sorts of beasts are gnawing on him and whatnot. He gets away and goes into memory. So the very typical Dino Hunter babe. Unfortunately, no. Sadly, no. The art does look good in this. Yeah. And I see reason, it's okay that this is in large format. So I was pretty cool with it. I didn't think so much about, I didn't notice, I should say, how you could shrink this down and it'd be onto a regular comic format and it would be fine. Also, the aspect ratio is different from a regular comic format, so I'm aware of that. But yeah, if this is a very standard first act, meet the characters, flashback to how did we get here. And so I think the writer, who is the guy who rewrote the Batman, Mattson Tomlin. Now, I don't know that this guy is being targeted by our acquaintance who says that the Batman script was stolen from him, and I believe him. I think Mattson Tomlin was hired to rewrite and is probably not part of the law or being targeted in the lawsuit as one of the people liable, but I'm not sure. You can go look that up if you care. Anyway, so Mattson is sticking to a very standard template of first act, second act, third act in a particular way. So he's using time here to not just let Lee Bermejo show off his artwork, which is what a lot of this is, but to give us a little bit more of the character's thought, let us feel for him, some desperation, and then just jumping back to how did we get here? I would not want credit for the Batman script. Lawsuit? Yeah, there was a script turned in a long time ago by a guy whose name I can't remember now, and he's filing a lawsuit against the producers and the director, Matt Riddle. Or wait, is it Matt Riddle? Because they basically took his script, made very little changes to it, and then added a whole bunch, and never credited him for it when he should have been credited for the script. That's it. So there's a lawsuit. Let's see. Oh yeah, and there are other people calling him out and saying he's fake and lying and whatever, blah blah blah. Yeah, as people will. So, yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry. And so for that film, the writer they hired after saying here's the concept and handing it over to him was this guy, Mattson. Mattson's his first name. Tomlin. Anyway, same writer. So the story becomes simple, but we get to say where did it come from. So there's. To me, it just struck me as a regular gimmick because at the end we come out of where did it come from, more sepia tone, and there's the guy Cole, we'll call him Cole, saying, "Hey, why don't we work together and solve this?" So it's a very overly simple 3-act. They used to do that all the time. I'd see why you'd see two very similar movies from studios within a year of each other, like Deep Impact and Armageddon. Yeah. Okay. So where did it come from? I have no idea why this person has gear on their head and what that is, but there is somebody at some point in time creating a machine, and his mission is to turn the machine off to save the world. He's a trained soldier or whatever, or he's got his training. Boom Studios series of Vicious Circle. Part 3 may be out now. I just haven't been back to the comic shop in like 3 weeks. So anyway, he's trained. This is our man Sean, and he gets into the facility where this thing is. And when he gets there, he finds the guy I'm calling Cole, who may be named by something else. So this is the same sphere. It just doesn't have the spikes on it we saw in the other book. And Cole's job is he's been sent to make sure it gets turned on. So immediately there's some fighting. As we saw in the prior book, I said a little future memory and then pointing guns at each other. This is what happens. They basically say screw it and take each other out, just as right down here Cole is hitting his click to get the machine turned on. But we're not told why they have to turn it on or off. It's just a save the world thing, and we're not informed yet. I'd like a little bit more depth on the fictional science behind all this. Like what besides it'll destroy the world is the big threat? Because in one guy's reality, and it was already turned on, and in this guy's reality, it wasn't, or it wasn't yet, or did he jump through time to get there? Not sure yet. That's not explained. But from here, they land in the Middle Ages, and our blonde dude, who was the prisoner at the beginning of the book, he seems to understand more quickly that by killing somebody, they jump through time. So these guys in the Middle Ages don't know what a gun is. They're these knights or whatever, soldiers, I should say, sorry, who found them, of course, treat them as a threat. They're foreigners, they're weird. He gets his gun and agrees to a challenge to a fight and just shoots the guy. So they jump time to Nazi Germany. It's better writing. Okay. So this is where, we see the Nazis saying Neger, so Neger, Neger. And because he's pointing out there's a black skinned guy here, which looks a little weird in Nazi Germany, so as they're rounding up Jews. And Cole, he finds some people, wants to protect him, whatever. They help him out with his wounds that he's gained, and this is right when they started jumping through time, kind of like Fahrenheit 451, Kurt Vonnegut's book. But there's a cause. He defends them against an invading soldier. And the soldier isn't dead yet. He goes outside. The other guy shoots Hitler. So, of course, we get that fantasy that lots of people have, is if you could go back in time and shoot Hitler, would you? And here's Cole, who has acquired a Nazi uniform. There we go. Anyway, that jumps them to the bayou. And so he starts to kill the other guy, and his face starts melting off. And trying to answer like, wait, what do we do? How do we do this? He has subdued the other dude, and this leads it's Nazis. And this is what leads us into the beginning of the book, where he's in 1950. He asks somebody, what can you tell me, or the 1950s in America, asks, what can you tell me about Adolf Hitler? And he's told by a shopkeeper or whoever, like, you mean the guy down the street? Because Hitler's reign of power never really came to fruition. History has been changed. So who killed his wife and son? Cole did. To escaping the basement, he killed the wife and son, or he mortally wounded them, and then by the time they died, they were already in the hospital. And that's what we saw at the beginning. So at the beginning, because I think you were late. Well, not too far from the microphone. But at the beginning, we wake up and see Sean's happy life with his wife, and he's keeping Cole prisoner in the basement right there. So he goes out to run an errand and then comes back, and Cole has escaped and has mortally wounded the two of them. So very brutal. Okay. So that's the story. I like it. I like where it's going. I'm leaving this page open for you, Corey. And I can get past the thing that caught my attention as, this is a very typical format that we're going to get the flashback, and then the hey, why don't we work together before that ends the second act, which is now he's dreaming all this while he's knocked out in dinosaur time, and as he wakes up, his woman turns into coal, which has got to be disturbing as anything. And he says, in his broken voice, they give him a different font in here too. Sorry, his voice is in a different font from other people's. If you're ready to be, if you're ready to be done kicking each other's, if you're ready to be done kicking each other in the nuts, I am too. We got to get back to saving the frickin' world. Okay. Took you long enough. Sorry. Took you a while. Anyway, so we get to see how he didn't just get into that time, but by taking Cole prisoner and keeping him in the basement, he figured out right after this jump, it's quantum leap, I don't know, but right after this jump, he figured out, oh, when I try to kill this other dude, I start melting. And then, so how this all works, hopefully will be in the third act. I really, want to figure out how everything comes together. It just seems like I like what they did. Some of it seems a little too expanded, like the big chase in the beginning of book 2 here. We do get insight into the character. It just took so many pages to get there. But if you're buying for art and you like Lieber-Mejo, it's here. Am I tilted enough? Yeah, I'm tilted enough. All right. We'll find out what really happens when a time traveler tries to kill Hitler in Down syndrome. Kill Hitler in Down syndrome Hitler. Okay. One thing that I would like to find interesting here is if you think of history as a tree of people, as the population grows until it gets cut off by a plague or whatever. That waiting for that to come through. Oh, come on, come through. See if I can force it to hurry. Anyway, then there we go. I made it hurry, which is tied into the Quantum Retard series by Admiral Wackass. Good. So, as Cole has jumped through history, killing people off, like the further back in history you go, you kill off one person, like that really changes the who gets what genetics coming out later, that people aren't even going to exist anymore. So anyway, so it's a time travel paradox book, kind of interesting. I just wonder how they're going to resolve the technology, which makes me a little disappointed in the book so far that I don't understand what needs to be resolved with the technology. So there we are. I thought Wackass was just doing the DHS spinoff. Okay. And James was doing so these books were $10 each. Double check. Yep, US $10 by Bermejo 2022, 2023. I assume that book 3 will be $10. They do go the full 48. So 120 plus 24, 144. If the third one goes a full 48 like this one, it's going to be 144 pages for $30. So compare that to Comicsgate, where everything's $35 for 48 pages and maybe fewer. So, if how do I say this? I don't think we really have room to complain about prices going up in the comic shops when that's tied into the entire economy going to crap right now. Thank you. But we can still get worthwhile stories. They might be independent and not mainstream, even if the prices are going up to $5, $6 a book and things like that. I think that's one reason why DC started making this format book at $7 back when they started, was because the prices were going to creep up from $4 to $5 on the smaller books. So they wanted to get something out there. CG books wouldn't have shipping if you bought them at a shop. CG books are very rare, though. Yes, I know. Rare isn't always valuable unless it's a book like, Kozor. Oh, wait, I've got something on my nose. It's brown. All right, anyway. They're rare, but are they all worth it? And I'm finding some of them aren't the literature I hoped they would be, because stories matter. And, and what culture are we taking these from? Anyway, I do like a lot of the CG books, especially Shadow Sentry, and I do owe Eric a review. So I hope I can get that made soon. Let's see. It was my mistake. What was your mistake? I didn't see it. Oh, he was talking about both, so he's doing both. Okay. Okay. I'm going to let that. I don't have to figure that one out. Sorry if I skip a beat like that. But anyway, there's your book. I really do. While I'm here, if he was recently talking about both, I could have been wrong. I have no idea what was going on with the Tard verse. Okay, you're talking about stuff from other people's channels that I'm not up on. Sorry about that. Feel free to. I don't care. It's cool. Recently read a horror book. Not going to do the full review on it. I want to reread this one because I'm learning about what horror should be, and it's always a reflection of human condition stuff. And so it was interesting. It's by, what's his name, Zach Thompson, who's written some other stuff, but I don't know if it's good horror or if it's just a horror. You know, like sequels are always not as great as the initial. So you got like Michael Myers is supposed to be a force of nature, and I'm learning about this. So this was interesting, but I think I missed something in it. So I want to go reread it. It's too bad Aftershock went under, but the Replacer. So maybe I'll get to that on a future stream. We shall see. And thank you everybody for being here. Should read Berserk. I have started Berserk. I have. I believe you mean the manga. I thought Berserk did more in the first chapter. I thought it did better in the first chapter than why start reading something you know will never be finished? You know, if you think about it, our lives are like that. Back to Berserk for a minute. 3 chapters per book in the small form, and he did better in the first chapter. So 1/3 of that book than some other people who are fans of Berserk did in their books. So I'll say that much. Anyway, I don't want to harp on one particular fan whose book I thought really failed. So beautiful art, but failed as a storytelling. And let's see, why would you get into something? Yeah, why would you start reading something that can never be finished? Isn't that like our lives, though? I mean, it's not like I know what day I'll die, you know, but I'm living this life anyway. So, philosophical on you. What do we got? He had people helping with the book. They will finish it. Oh, cool. Probably by the time I get it, or get all the copies. Cool. Thank you all for being here. I hope this was thought-provoking and maybe a little bit of fun. Let's see. Don't put the wrong video in there. Where are we? Is it playing? There we go. Yeah, it's playing. It says it's muted. Why is it muted? I don't know. Let it go. Hey, thanks for being here. Yeah, I recommend this book. I know it's a few dollars, but hopefully if you see that people are liking number 3 and how it played out, then maybe it's worth your $30 for 144 pages instead of $35 for 48 of a part 1 that doesn't actually establish characters properly. You know, maybe they will do as good of a job as the people who finished Game of Thrones. Oh my, no, no. Please sign up for Dino King, Edge of Extinction. There's the mailing list link in the chat. Thank you. For anyone watching this on replay, hopefully I will have better links in the description worked up. I'll go do that. No way. Yeah. Oh, the Hollywood types have screwed that one up. Everybody, hope you enjoyed your bedtime story. This was a lot less story and a lot more review and comment. I blazed through it pretty quick. Sleep tight. Take care of yourselves. Why did you use pliers to peel the orange? Because I wanted it to have I did this knowing I would reverse the video, and I wanted it to have an effect like I was very carefully, meticulously putting it there like that. That's a deliberate fake that I did knowing it was going to be reversed. All the shaking as if I'm gluing it back on. That's why I used pliers. Yeah, this was planned. Anyway. Yeah, it is.